Hey there, friends. Have you ever gone for a walk, maybe around the block or down to the park, and come back feeling more worn out than refreshed? I know I've had days like that, where I thought I was doing something good for myself, but instead, I ended up winded or with an ache I didn't expect. It got me wondering, could the way we walk actually make a difference, not just to our legs or joints, but to our heart? Turns out, it can, especially as we get past 60. Walking's one of those things we've done forever, but if we're not careful about how we do it, it might quietly put a strain on the one part of us we really need to keep strong, our heart. Now, I'm not here to scare you off your daily stroll. Walking's still a gift, a simple way to keep moving and enjoy the fresh air. But I've learned a thing or two about how doing it the wrong way can sneakily add stress to your heart, and I'd love to share that with you. We're going to chat about 5 common walking habits that might be doing more harm than good, and what we can do instead to keep our hearts happy and ticking along. This isn't about fancy fitness plans or turning into an athlete, it's just you and me, figuring out how to make those steps work for us, not against us. So, lace up your comfy shoes, and let's take this walk together, starting with the first thing to watch out for. One habit a lot of us fall into without even noticing is walking too fast, too soon, like we're trying to win a race we didn't sign up for. I used to do this myself, heading out the door with my little dog, Rusty, thinking I'd power through the neighborhood to get my blood pumping. But halfway down the street, I'd be huffing and puffing, my chest feeling tight, and I'd wonder why I was so out of breath. Turns out, when you push your pace hard right from the start, especially if you haven't warmed up, your heart has to jump into overdrive to keep up. After 60, it doesn't bounce back as quick as it used to, and that sudden demand can leave it working harder than it should. I talked to my friend Clara, who's 68 and loves her morning walks by the lake. She used to speedwalk like she was late for something, but she'd end up with this heavy feeling in her chest. She slowed it down, started with an easy stroll for the first few minutes, and said it's like night and day. Her heart doesn't race anymore, it just eases into the rhythm. So, what can you do? Give yourself a gentle start, walk like you're window shopping for 5 or 10 minutes before picking up the pace. I've started doing this, and Rusty doesn't mind the slower sniff around the yard. It's like letting your heart warm up to the idea of moving, instead of surprising it with a sprint. Another thing that can sneak up on us is slouching while we walk, you know, that hunched-over shuffle we sometimes slip into without thinking. I caught myself doing this one day when I passed a shop window and saw my reflection, shoulders forward, head down, like I was carrying the world on my back. It's easy to let posture slide, especially if you're tired or your back's been stiff. But here's the catch: when you slouch, your chest gets cramped, and your lungs can't take in as much air. That means your heart has to pump harder to get oxygen where it needs to go, and over time, that extra effort can wear it out. My neighbor Tom, who's 72 and still mows his own lawn, told me he used to shuffle along until his wife pointed it out. He started standing taller, shoulders back, chin up, and said he feels less winded on his walks now. It's not about looking fancy, it's about giving your heart some breathing room. Try this next time you're out. Imagine a string pulling you up from the top of your head, keeping your back straight and your chest open. I've been practicing it, and it's amazing how much easier it feels, like my heart saying, "Thanks for the space." These 2 tweaks, easing into your pace and standing tall, can take a load off your heart without changing much about your routine. They're small shifts, but they're like a little kindness to yourself, keeping those walks a joy instead of a strain. Now that we've got those under our belt, let's move on to another walking habit that might be asking more of your heart than you realize. So, we've talked about how rushing into a fast pace and slouching can quietly put extra work on your heart when you're out for a walk. It's funny how these little habits sneak in, isn't it? Things we don't even think twice about can make a big difference over time, especially after 60 when our hearts deserve a bit more care. Now, let's chat about another way we might be walking that's not doing us any favors, taking steps that are too long or uneven. I know I've been guilty of this, stretching my legs out like I'm trying to cover more ground in a hurry, or just not paying attention to how my feet hit the pavement. Turns out, that can throw everything off, including how hard your heart has to pump. When you overstride, taking those big, loping steps, it's like you're asking your body to play catch-up with itself. Your muscles tense up more than they need to, and your joints take a harder hit, which can make your heart work overtime to keep the blood flowing smoothly. I used to do this on my walks with my granddaughter, trying to match her endless energy, and I'd come home feeling like I'd run a lap instead of strolled. My friend Ed, who's 65 and still tinkers with his old motorcycle, said he noticed the same thing. He'd stretch his steps too far, and his chest would feel tight by the end. He started shortening his stride, keeping it natural, like he's just walking to the mailbox, and said it's like his heart's not racing to keep up anymore. The fix here is pretty simple: aim for steps that feel easy and steady, not forced. Think about how you'd walk across a room, comfortable, relaxed, nothing dramatic. I've been practicing this lately, keeping my strides shorter and smoother, and it's almost like my legs and heart are working together instead of fighting each other. It doesn't mean you're slowing down your whole walk, just giving your body a rhythm it can settle into. Next time you're out, try it for a block or two, feel how your feet land, and let your heart find its happy pace. Now, while we're on the subject of how we move, let's talk about something else that can creep into our walks: swinging our arms too much, or not at all. I never really thought about my arms until I caught myself one day, flailing them like I was directing traffic. Other times, I'd let them hang there like dead weight, especially if I was tired. Either way, it's not just about looking silly, it can mess with how your heart handles the effort. When you overdo the arm swings, you're burning extra energy, and your heart has to pick up the slack to fuel it. But if you don't move them at all, your circulation can get lazy, and that puts more pressure on your heart to push the blood around. I ran into my old pal Joan at the park. She's 70 and still does Tai Chi every week, and she laughed when I brought this up. She said she used to pump her arms like she was in a marching band, but it left her winded. Now, she keeps them loose and natural, just bending at the elbow a bit, and she feels steadier on her feet. I gave it a shot myself, letting my arms swing gently, like they're along for the ride, and it's surprising how much lighter the whole walk feels. Your heart doesn't need the drama of wild swings or the drag of stiff arms, it likes that sweet spot in between. Try it out, keep them relaxed, moving with your steps, and see how it feels like your whole body's in sync. These adjustments, finding the right stride and easing up on the arm action, go hand in hand with starting slow and standing tall. They're all about making your walk a friend to your heart, not a chore it has to grunt through. It's amazing how much these little tweaks can shift things, keeping you moving without wearing you out. Now that we've covered these, let's step into one more habit that might be sneaking up on your heart when you're out there walking. Alright, so we've been chatting about how little things like rushing your pace, slouching, overstriding, and swinging your arms too much, or not enough, can quietly put extra strain on your heart when you're walking. It's eye-opening, isn't it, how something as simple as a daily stroll can turn tricky if we're not mindful? But don't worry, we're figuring this out together, and these small fixes can keep your walks feeling good and your heart happy. Now, let's wrap this up with one last habit that might be sneaking up on you: walking without a break when your body's asking for one. I know how it goes: you're out there, determined to finish your loop, and you push through even when your legs feel heavy or your breath's getting short. I've done it myself, thinking I'm tougher than I feel, but it turns out that can backfire, especially on your heart. When you keep going without pausing, especially after 60, you're not giving your heart a chance to catch its breath, literally. It's pumping away, trying to keep up with your determination, and if you ignore those little signals, like feeling winded or a bit shaky, it can end up working harder than it should. I used to power through my walks around the neighborhood, telling myself I'd rest when I got home. But I'd sit down after, feeling like my chest was still racing, and it took longer to settle down than it used to. My buddy Ray, who's 67 and still plays cards every Friday, told me he'd do the same: walk a mile without stopping, even when his knees complained. He started taking short breaks, just a minute or two, and said it's like his heart thanks him for it. He's not huffing by the end anymore. The trick here is to listen to your body and give it a breather when it needs one. It's not about giving up, it's about pacing yourself so you can keep going strong. Next time you're out, try this. If you feel your breath getting quick or your legs tightening up, slow down for a moment or stop and take in the scenery. I've started doing this, pausing by a big oak tree on my route to watch the squirrels, and it's amazing how 30 seconds can reset everything. Your heart gets a little break, your muscles relax, and you're ready to finish your walk feeling refreshed instead of frazzled. It's like hitting a gentle pause button, keeping things easy and steady. Now, as we tie all this together, think about how these habits fit into your walks. Starting slow warms your heart up, standing tall gives it room to breathe, shorter strides keep it from overreaching, gentle arm swings help it flow, and taking a break when you need one lets it rest. It's all connected, like a little dance you're doing with your body to keep your heart in the groove. I've been tweaking my own walks with these ideas, and I can't tell you how much better it feels, like I'm working with my heart, not against it. You don't have to change everything at once, just pick one to try next time you're out, maybe that easy start or a quick pause, and see how it goes. What I love about this is how it's not about giving up walking, it's about making it work for you. We've earned the right to enjoy these years, haven't we? To feel good moving around, whether it's to the mailbox or around the park with a grandkid. These little shifts can keep your heart strong without making it a big ordeal. I've seen it with folks like my friend Clara, who slowed her pace, and Ray, who takes his breaks. They're still out there, walking their way through life, just smarter about it. So, I'd love to hear from you. What's your walking routine like? Do you catch yourself rushing or slouching sometimes? Maybe you've got a trick that keeps you feeling great. Drop it in the comments below, because we're all learning from each other. If this chat sparked something for you, give the video a like, it keeps me going, and hit that subscribe button if you want more talks like this. Here's to walking happy, keeping our hearts light, and enjoying every step we take in this beautiful season of life. See you soon, friends.